Hi everyone, welcome back to the Jesus in Mind podcast. It has been a while since we've all been together, and I am formally apologizing for that. My life has been absolutely insane. Graduation is coming up though, so that means summertime, so hopefully I'll have more time to film some podcasts for you. But let's get on and get into the topic of this video. Hi everyone, welcome back to Jesus in Mind podcast. So today is going to be number one video of a series that I'm going to start, and it's just diving into stories that we all know in the Bible but don't really know the true meaning behind. So today we're going to be talking about the woman that anoints Jesus. We're going to open up our Bibles to Mark chapter 14, and we're going to start in verse 3. Verse 3 says, "While he was at Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, as he was reclining at the table, a woman came with an alabaster glass of ointment of pure nard, very costly, and she broke the flask and poured it over his head." You're asking, what does that mean? Why is that weird? Like, this random woman just breaks into the home that Jesus is in and pours perfume all over him. So, like, in this day and age, that would be extremely weird. But also, in that day and age, it was really weird to everyone else. So, pretty much, Jesus is just relaxing when this unnamed woman, she doesn't even, announce herself. She doesn't say, "Hi, I am so-and-so." She just, unnamed, barges in and breaks this extremely expensive flask. So, you have to remember that part. It is extremely expensive. This is not something that you go pick up from Walmart, okay? This is, your really, really expensive stuff that comes in a case that only rich people have, okay? So think about it like that. And she just pours it all over his head. So that is just a shock to all of our systems, right? We're like, why is this woman, first of all, just barging into a home that's kind of not okay? And why is she pouring a bottle of perfume that's highly expensive all over him and wasting it all? So this may seem absolutely insane and not generous at all. This perfume is something normally kept as a gift for a future husband. So in this day and age, this was kept as something that you would give to your husband on the wedding day. This perfume is something that you inherit or you get, and it's really something you try to save until the day of your wedding and your husband gets it, and it's this big ceremony type of deal. So this is extremely insane that she just randomly pours it all over Jesus. So she basically just poured all of her hopes of a husband on Jesus' head. So all of the people in the room are completely startled. All of the disciples and everyone in there are completely just startled, and they instantly kind of begin being kind of resentful to the lady and judging the woman and saying why would you do that, and all of these things. On to verses 6 through 7. They say, "But Jesus said, 'Leave her alone. Why do you trouble her? She has done a beautiful thing to me. For you always have the poor with you, and whenever you want, you can do good for them. But you will not always have me.'" Basically, Jesus knows at this point that his death is coming. He knows he's in Bethany right before he's going on. So he knows that his death is coming. While other people might not, he does know, and he has tried to warn them. So pretty much, this woman has broken every cultural norm by doing this, and she knows that. So that's another thing to keep in mind. This woman knew that she was breaking literally every cultural norm, as in this is something that you just don't do. It's kind of an unspoken rule. You don't do this. This is crazy. Why would you do this? She's insane for this. So she's broken every cultural norm while knowing it. And with Jesus knowing that his death is coming upon, he actually saw this act as generous, and that she was preparing him for his burial. So he is going to smell this highly expensive, extremely amazing, think the best smell you've ever smelt, perfume, and he sees it as an act of generosity, and he's saying that she kind of just prepared him for his burial. She was preparing him, part of prepping his body for the burial, but in a respectful manner. 9. This is Jesus talking to all the disciples. He says, "And truly I say to you, whatever the gospel is proclaimed in the whole world, what she has done will be told in memory of her." Pretty much, this whole story begins with This woman being seen as completely foolish, completely breaking every cultural norm. People are extremely judging of her in an instant. She barges in, which is disrespectful. She comes in unannounced, does not even say hi to everyone, does not welcome everyone, does not explain who she is. She just comes in, barges in, breaks this highly expensive flask, seen as very disrespectful because this is very expensive stuff. She could have been giving it to the poor if she was just going to waste it like this on Jesus' head. So she's seen as extremely disrespectful. And then suddenly Jesus is like, no, hey, this woman, her story is going to be told for generations to come. This is a story to be told. This is a story that I want you guys to go tell to the whole world. And this is going to be one of the gospels that you're going to tell. This is going to be how you evangelize. And this is just a shock to everyone, obviously, because they're seeing this woman as, whoa, she just did this. That was insane. Why would she do that? And suddenly Jesus is like, hey, no, stop. This woman's story is going to be told for generations to come, and this is going to be told to the whole world. While others in this room saw this woman's actions as inherently wasteful, because she could have been given this perfume, like I said, to the poor. This woman pretty much could have saved a lot of poor people because this perfume was so expensive that it could have given a life to the poor. But instead, the woman understands what true generosity is. It's something that most of us probably don't understand, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today. This is a story that we can learn true generosity through. It might be seen as crazy or skeptical, and people are going to look at you and judge you. That might be true, but true generosity is an overflow of our loving relationship with God and creation. And that is something to be celebrated, and that is something that we should all strive to be and strive to do. When we, like those people in the room, choose to see generosity as just a transaction, we lose out on the full picture of what generosity is. All the disciples in the room, these people have been following Jesus for years now, but they completely missed the whole part that Jesus was trying to teach them, that this woman is showing complete generosity because she understood and knew that Jesus needed this, and this is something that can be seen as generosity, but people completely missed it just because it was different than what people normally do with their flasks of perfume. So this is something to keep in mind, that typically generosity might be seen as completely insane, and people are like, that is not how people do it around here. You don't have to be nice like that, or you don't have to do this specific thing for that person because that's just against the cultural norm. But that's what generosity is, and we should be striving to be like Jesus and strive to show true generosity rather than just go along with all the cultural norms. Where does your generosity come from? Do you give it just because you feel obligated to? Are you just feeling this is something I gotta do, this is who people think I am, I've gotta be generous? Is it just another thing on your checkoff list of good? Is this generosity just something that you're like, okay, I've got to be nice to at least one person a day because that's how I can say I'm a good person? Is it a checkoff list for you? Because it shouldn't be. Or do you just do it because it makes you feel good, or makes you look good? Maybe you might be trying to get into a college, and you've got to write an essay about how you're such a good person. Because I know I'm doing this right now, and there's a lot of scholarships that kind of want you to write about community service you've done and all this stuff. So then people are like, oh my gosh, I need to do more community service. I need to go be a good person. But it shouldn't be that hard to write down things that you've done in your life that are seen as good that you might not even think is that good. So don't just do it as a check off. Don't just do it because it makes you look good to other people. Do it because of the generosity that God gives you, because you can reflect that to other people. So begin giving from a deeper place, a love for God. In your heart, a love for God. A desire for everyone to thrive. This might look a little awkward or weird, and you might be judged by others, and it might be hard, but Jesus sees this as what it really is, and that is generosity. And how Jesus sees it is really the only thing that matters, because that's how you're going to get into heaven, because Jesus sees you a certain way. It does not matter what the world sees you as. It does not matter what people are talking about you or saying, oh, she's a fake good person or whatever. Like, I don't know if people are saying that about you, but if it is, it doesn't matter, because if you're truly a good person and Jesus knows that, then that's all that matters. So be who Jesus wants you to be rather than what the cultural norm or whatever the world wants you to be. Is more than just simply a nice thing to do. It is a beautiful thing. Generosity is an outward sign of inward goodness. Let me repeat that. Generosity is an outward sign of inward goodness, meaning that generosity is something that you can show to others, that generosity is something that you show to others that then reflects the love that you have in your heart for those people and for God. So that is a way to let your shine come out. This is a way to let the love of God that's in your heart come out and show to the people around you and to this world. So here's my last bit of advice to finally wrap this up. Ask God to teach you this fullness of generosity and show you where you can share this generous spirit in your life every day. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so thankful for you all, and I hope that you guys are going to enjoy this new series that I'm going to do of just diving into the book, the Word of God, and just diving in and figuring out a little deeper what these stories that we all know about really truly mean. So, thank you guys all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications. I also say that you should follow my Instagram and TikTok, both under Jesus in Mind 00. I post on my TikTok almost every single day, and I post on my Instagram with updates about my podcast and just some little life updates. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and I am going to talk a little bit about a little something else on my YouTube after this, but if you don't want to watch that, go ahead and close that now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye! Okay, so like I said, I want to talk to you guys a little bit more. This is just more about my platform and my YouTube. So if you guys do have an opinion about that, please comment down below. I'm asking if you want to see more videos on YouTube that are like vlogs and day in the lives, whatever. Like, I can do a lot of how-to videos. Like, I was going to share with you guys some little like knickknacks that I've made or things like that are just fun little like Christian like how-to videos and like little inspirations. I made a bunch of little bookmarks. These ones all have little tassels on them. I dropped it. But I just wanted to ask, like, what kind of content do you guys want to see? Should I shift from just podcasts to doing vlogs and more things like that? I've done some day in the lives and you guys seem to really like those. So comment down below, give me your ideas on things that you guys want to see, and just let me know. Thank you guys. Bye.